Well, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of A Closer Walk with Toe. We're out in the foothills in February looking for some fine forest food, because we're famished. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter F. Come for a walk with us, see what we can eat. Well, believe it or not, middle of February, these guys are still out. We've got some winter chanterelles here. This is a Crater Ellis tubiformis, and it's actually still pretty good. I mean, stipe's a little bit toast. We'll take that piece off there, but yeah, absolutely fabulous. These guys are loaded with so much good stuff for us. You know, they've got polysaccharides, they've got antioxidants, they've got anti-inflammatory qualities, and yeah, those polysaccharides that they got, some of them are anti-cancerous, but so many other things in there. They're loaded with calcium and vitamin C. They have not a lot of vitamin A and E, and depending on where they're growing, whether or not they're getting sun, the amount of vitamin D that they'd have in them. They do have the ergosterols in them to form the vitamin D that us humans really require, and most living organisms do require. So yeah, awesome. This is our first find to go in our basket. Hopefully we're going to find more of these guys, and to make ourselves a nice forageable meal. Yeah, absolutely. They're still out, and we've got some beauties. Nice little flush of them here. So we're gonna grab some more of these, and we'll carry on down the trail. Yeah, just an absolutely beautiful little cluster of these guys. You can see their white spore print there on the shroom cap there below this one. Yeah, amazing. What a great find. And of course, we always leave a few behind to carry on. And then of course we've got these beautiful guys that are all through the Pacific Northwest. This is Salal. It's Galtheria Shalon. And what do they got in them? Well, they got iron, they got calcium, they got phosphorus, they have potassium. But their main thing, their main attribute that I find with these guys, appetite suppression. Now, not the most palatable. You can use them in your cooking, like it was a bay leaf, and then pull that out after you're done cooking. You can crush it up and add it to your water if you're feeling peckish, and it'll help curb your appetite. So you want to try and get, you know, the youngest looking ones possible, which would be most likely the ones on the ends, and they're normally a little bit smaller, right? So we're just gonna, oh, here, see, these are perfect, these guys here. So I'm just going to grab a few of these, and they can go in to our wonderful meal once we get back. Yeah, so awesome. The other nice thing is you can literally just chew on it while you're walking down the trail. Again, not the most palatable, but suck the juices out of it, and you're going to get all the nutrients out of them that you need. Awesome. These guys are going into the basket as well. And we have some Quipiniopsis alpina, some poor man's gumdrop here. Now, there's not a lot of these guys here to take for our meal, but you know, you can pop a couple in your mouth because your mouth's getting dry, and it's just a mouthful of moisture. Absolutely fabulous. So a little trailside snack for us, and we'll carry on trying to get these guys. Oh, yeah, they just hang on by this little tiny holdfast there, and yeah. Not a lot of flavor. They're almost kind of, I don't know, they say Fruit Loopy. They are definitely not Fruit Loopy, but they will definitely moisten your mouth when needed after hiking around. So totally cool. And in here we've got some beautiful wrinkled coral, or the crested tip coral. This is Clavulina, Coralloides, or cristata. These guys are very beautiful. You can see how wrinkled these guys are. We went over these quite in depth in one of our totally amazing mushroom videos. These guys have alpha paraneric acid, which help carry cholesterol through our system without leaving it on our artery, without leaving it on our artery walls. Yeah, and there's several lookalikes, but we went through those all in the other video. So this is one. Like, there's a couple in here that are a little bit degraded, so we'll leave those guys alone, but there will be more. There will definitely be more. And here we have some lovely licorice root ferns here. These are beautiful. This is Polypodium glycyrrhiza. And what we've got to do is follow their stalk down. Underneath is their rhizome. So their glycyrrhiza means that they've got glycerides in their rhizome, and it acts like a antifreeze. And that's how they survive through the winter. And these guys actually sporulate. There's their sori full of spores in the winter time, whereas like the Polystichum menetum, they're summertime, the Filix femina, they're summer, you know, so that's when they do their sporulations. These guys die out come summertime. But we're going to go down and see at the base here, underneath this moss, we'll find their rhizome. And these are a little bit difficult to get out of the moss sometimes. Now they're not the most palatable, the roots, but you can chew on them as you're walking down the trail or whatever. First Nations use them for like sore throats and respiratory infections and that kind of thing. Yeah, so they're really quite, they're very licoricey, but not like the Dutch licorice or anything like that. It's not going to be that potent. But yeah, they're nice to put in a tea. I've even chopped them up very fine and put them in food. The First Nations also used them as a sweetener for other wild foods that were maybe a little bit more tart, so that they'd add a little bit of these guys, their rhizome, to that to sweeten it up. Yeah, cool. So we just only need a couple of little chunks of this, maybe another one of these, and that's all we need for our tea. One of the things I forgot to mention was the Polypodium, their genus name. You see all these little nodules? It means many feet, basically is what it means, and it's kind of referring to these little nodules coming out of the rhizome. Now this isn't going to hurt the rhizome or the plant itself. A huge network underneath this moss of these guys, going all the way over there, and they go way over here. So you're not going to do any harm, and we've only taken just kind of what we need right here. So yeah, awesome. Down the trail. Now here's one you really have to be careful of. This here is the spurge laurel, Daphne laureola. It is neither a spurge nor a laurel. It's actually related to the rhododendron. However, these guys have sap in them that will burn your skin and it'll blister. And if you actually ingest one leaf, it's going to just completely burn your esophagus, and you're going to have nothing but gastrointestinal problems because it's just going to wreak havoc on your digestive system. So if you're going to take these out, because they are invasive, they're not native to here, wear all your protective gear, your gloves, especially wear goggles, because if that sap gets in your eye, you're done. Yeah, so Daphne laureola, spurge laurel, very, very bad for us. Stay away from them. Now right here we have a lovely, ooh, this is a bull thistle. These guys have a 2-year life cycle, and they're going to come out as a rosette for the first year, and they'll stay like that, low to the ground. Second year is when they're going to stick their spikes up and have their flower heads. And then after that, and then they're done, but they've dropped all their seeds, their little parachute seeds, and they fly away in the wind, and then they form new little rosettes for the first year, and next year, again, the spike comes out. This is probably a second year one. It was probably smaller last year, of course. Okay, so I know you're sitting there going, well, those are pretty spiky, aren't they? Well, it's not really the top body that we're looking for. We're going underground for this guy. We're looking for his root. And what the amazing properties of these guys are going to help your joints, and they're going to help with arthritis. They've got loads of protein. They've got potassium. They've got magnesium. They've got calcium, zinc, copper, and they're going to aid your digestion. Just really, really all around good for you. When they do send up their big shoot on their second year, you can take the pith of their main shoot and the branches, and they are loaded with all those nutrients as well in those. So really cool plant all the way around. Yeah, wild. Oh, and just over here, we've got another little fella that we're gonna add in. Ugh. What do we have here? We have the field daisy. This is Bellis perennis. Yeah, they're just amazing. These guys are loaded with vitamin A, they're loaded with vitamin D, they're antimicrobial, they're anti-cancerous, they have anti-depression qualities to them too. And you can eat everything on these guys, from the flower head all the way down to the roots. Their roots are really, really thin and fibrous. They're not really worth it, but their leaves and their flower heads are just amazing. So we're going to grab this guy and try and find some more and throw those in our basket. We're just going to take our handy dandy little camp shovel here and we are going to dig this guy up. Yeah, love this shovel. It's been so good to me. So handy. Okay, so we just got to get underneath this guy because he's got a big taproot, kind of like a carrot or a parsnip. So just going to loosen this guy up. So we can see here we've got these lovely, lovely roots coming out, and they're nice and tender. And we just got to get this dirt off, and without spiking ourselves with the lovely spikes that they have all over them. This one's got a couple on it, as you can see here. Got these two here, and we're just going to get a little bit closer to the base, and we're just going to snap them off, just like that. And then you have your, basically, your little miniature carrot. A couple of those guys, we've got to get them washed up, of course. And we'll maybe try and find another couple. Well, look at these little beauties. These little gorgeous things here are Colencia torii. Yeah, my namesake. Isn't that cool? Yeah, these are Torrey's blue-eyed Marys. There are about 3 or 4 different varieties of these guys. Some get taller, some get a little bit more purple. These guys are the most blue of all the blues. Yeah, isn't that gorgeous? Wow. Yeah, so not edible, but we had to highlight these because, well, me. And wow, these guys are all coming up again. These are regular dandelions here. These are Taraxacum officinale. And they're just loaded with everything. But honestly, they have as much potassium in them as a banana. But I mean, they've got way more other stuff. They've got like calcium, they've got sodium, magnesium, iron, zinc, manganese, they got phosphorus, you know, they got vitamin A, they got vitamin C. Just amazing, amazing. And the heads, the flower heads, they have 115 times more phenols in them, which are anti-cancerous and help our immune system a lot, than the rest of the plant. So yeah, even if you just ate the little petals off of these guys in your meals, you'd be getting lots of good nutrients. The sepals get kind of bitter. They're little green parts at the back here. And the leaves are lovely, and they're very serrated. And yeah, and smooth. You're not going to find them being really hairy. If you find them hairy, they're not the Taraxacum officinale. When you find these guys in the middle of the forest or where it's shady, you can actually take these and eat them raw or in a salad. They're really good. They're not. They don't have that really bitter taste to them. Yeah, just amazing. So. And they do have nitrates in them, but when you cook them, it completely gets rid of that. So, yeah, very, very good for us. Just loaded with good stuff. Yeah, awesome. Oh, and I forgot to mention, they also have a lot of fatty acids in them too. Yeah, so we're going to go around, we're going to try and find a few more of these guys and put them into our basket. Now in here, we've got these little, beautiful little leaves here. See, they look kind of like a arrowhead. They got these two little horns coming out of them. These guys are wonderful. They remind me very much of rhubarb. Yeah, just wonderful flavor and really, really nice snack on the trail. It keeps your mouth moist and everything. But these guys are loaded in vitamin A, vitamin C. They're good for your skin. They're good for your immune system. They're loaded with antioxidants. So really, really good. Not huge. And also these guys have a lot of oxalates, which are not good for your kidneys. So you want to keep your consumption down to maybe once, maybe twice a week on these guys. We're just going to add a few of these guys because they're just starting to come out. I mean, there's a few more under here and whatnot, but under this rock. But yeah, just wonderful. So I've been looking for these guys and they just happened to catch my eye. Sweet. So we have right here some beautiful yarrow. This is Achilles millefolium, and it has also a kind of a citrusy kind of flavor to them. They're really, really good. And they're super high in vitamin A and vitamin C. They've got phosphorus, they've got potassium, they've got zinc, they've got magnesium, they've got calcium, they've got manganese, they've got niacin. There's so many things that are in these that are good for you. They've also got many flavonoids, which will give you anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. So they are very delicate, they're very small, and so you have to get a fair amount of them, but there's quite a few. These are all brand new little shoots. They're all just coming out of the ground right now. So let's get a few of these guys in our basket too. And these guys here, we have the Douglas fir. This is Pseudotsuga menziesii. You can see that the needles go all the way around their little branch. Now these guys are super, super high in vitamin C. Yeah, just really, really high. And so that's going to aid your immune system and things like that. It's also loaded with loads of electrolytes. So you're going to get a bunch of micronutrients out of these guys. Not to mention flavor. Like these guys are just loaded with flavor. And they also have anti-inflammatory properties to them too, which is really awesome. So yeah, these guys are great. Now I know that when most people are out cooking on the campfires, you're trying to get these things out of your food, but we are putting it in our food, so because it's just so good. And the meristematic growth of the new shoots that come out, which will come out right from the center of this branch here, and they're light green, and they are just powerhouses. Meristematic growth of most plants are just loaded with everything because they put everything into it to get their new shoots out there so that they can get some sunlight and get that photosynthesis going, and they get their growth pattern there. So yeah, awesome. So we're going to grab a few little nubs of these guys as well. Okay, now we have our Himalayan blackberries. These are the Rubus armeniacus. Rubus because they're related to the raspberry, and armeniacus because the first specimen described was from Armenia. Armeniacus. Yeah, amazing. Now, at the base of their little branches and whatnot, they've got these little, tiny little buds. And this is meristematic growth. And as I'd mentioned before about the meristematic growth on plants, they put everything they have into their new little shoots, and they are so good. I would have thought that they would have been bitter. They're not. They actually have almost kind of a smoky, woody kind of flavor to them. It's really, really nice. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in our meal. Now the best meristematic growth will be at their base in the spring, and their new shoots will be coming out of their big hub there, and they're normally kind of red, and they are so good. When you fry them up and put them in with anything, they almost kind of have like a sweet kind of flavor to them. Very nice. But they're not out yet, so we're going to grab things like this, their meristematic growth, without getting thorned. Ouch, no, it's too late for that. Yeah, there we go. These little guys, so good. You can snack on them on the trail. You know, they can be a little bit dry. They're not going to moisten your mouth. So, but I did mention a couple other plants that will. So, yeah, so we're going to gather a bunch of these guys, and they're going to go into our stir fry. And like I said, they're putting all their vitamins, they're putting all of their minerals into these tiny little packages. So they're just little bundles of goodliness. Right on. Okay, harvest away. And these guys, like the Doug fir, the Pseudotsuga menziesii, these are the Tsuga heterophylla. These are actually the hemlock, the true hemlock. They have the same nutrients in them as the Doug firs, and they're just amazing. About the same flavor, profile. My favorite, honestly, of the three, between the hemlock, the Doug fir, and the Abies, which around here I believe we have the grandis, I like the Abies the most. They have the most flavor, but yeah, they have all the same nutrients, they have all the same beautiful minerals and vitamins in them, and they add a lot of flavor. So really nice, make tea or add them to your soup or food. So here we have the broadleaf dock, and this guy is Rumex obtusifolia. Now these guys have amazing, amazing qualities, just like the Aceticella. These guys have vitamin C, they've got vitamin A, they've got, oh man, they've got so many things in them. They can help your vision, they can help your skin, they can help your immune system. They've got antioxidants in them. Now they are high in oxalates, however, so you want to actually keep your consumption of these guys down to once, maybe twice a week. You don't want to do it a lot, okay, because that can really affect your kidneys. But yeah, the broadleaf, you get a lot more volume out of them than the Aceticella. They're quite small. Yeah, awesome. So these guys, we're going to harvest a few of these, and they're going to go into our basket too. Now here's one of the ABs, which you can see is quite different from the Doug fir. How the Doug fir, the needles go all the way around the little branch, and the ABs kind of go in a plane. These guys have all the same things that are in the Doug firs, but these have like twice the amount of flavor, like just really, really good. So we're going to grab a little bit of this stuff for our tea.